show themselves, they do not disturb his solitude. This is why the sutra speaks only of the presence of the devas. Finally, seeing that the 5 bhikshus had gone away and abandoned him, the bodhisattva went alone to the foot of the tree. This is why he made the wish to be accompanied by the devas. Divyavastramstara. 12th section, attaining sambodhi on a bed of celestial robes. Sutra. The bodhisattva Mahasattva must practice the perfection of wisdom if he envisages the following. At the time when I sit down at the foot of the Bodhi tree, may the gods from the Keter Maharahikas to the Akanasthas lay down a bed of celestial robes there. Sastra. Question. But according to the sutras, the Buddha spread out grass at the foot of the tree, and sitting on that, he attained sambodhi. Why does the bodhisattva wish for celestial garments as a seed? Answer. It is in the sutras of the Sravakas that it is a matter of a bunch of grass. The Mahayana Sutras, on the other hand, refer to what beings saw. Some saw him spread the grass at the foot of the tree, others saw him spread celestial mats. The visions vary according to the lesser or greater merits of the beings. Moreover, the Buddhas of birth body collect grass at the foot of the tree, whereas the Buddhas of body born from the fundamental element use heavenly robes as seat or things higher than these robes. Finally, the Buddha realizes sambodhi in a deep forest, at the foot of a tree. If there are people in the forest who see him, they offer him grass. If these are noble men who see him, they offer him garments of high quality as seed. But in the forest there are no nobles. Therefore it is a Naga and the gods who each present to him a beautiful robe as a seed. The robe of the Keter Maharajakas weighs 2 pala. That of the Trayastrimsa, 1 pala. That of the Yamas, 18 dharana. That of the Tacitus, 12 dharana. That of the Nirmanaridas, 6 dharana. That of the Paranirmatavasavartans, 3 dharana. The robe of the gods of the form realm has no weight. The robe of the gods of the desire realm, being made of tree tips, has neither warp nor woof. It is like a thin skin of ice, clear with all sorts of colors, pure and of ineffable brilliance. The bodhisattva sits down on these precious robes spread out as a seat and realizes supreme complete enlightenment. Question. Why does the Prajnaparamitasutra speak only of the devas spreading out robes and say nothing about the great bodhisattvas of the 10 directions who themselves set out thrones for the Buddha? At the moment when the Buddha is going to realize sambodhi, all the bodhisattvas set out thrones for the Buddha. These thrones have a length of 1 league and a width of 1 league, 10 leagues, 100 leagues, 1,000 leagues, 10,000 leagues, an infinite number of leagues. And their height is also in proportion. These precious thrones come from the pure merit of the bodhisattvas. They are invisible to the divine eye, and all the more so, they cannot be touched by the hand. The Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, their victory over Mara, their enlightenment, their wonders, and their Buddha deeds are seen clearly as though in a clear mirror. Why then does the Prajnaparamitasutra not speak of these precious thrones? Answer. The prajnaparamitas are of 2 kinds. 1. Those that are addressed both to the Sravakas and to the bodhisattvas and devas. 2. Those that concern bodhisattvas possessing the 10 bhumis exclusively. It is in this latter type that the bodhisattvas setting out thrones for the Buddha will be discussed. Why? The gratitude which the devas have for the Buddha is not as great as that of the great bodhisattvas separated from Buddhahood by only 1 or 2 lifetimes. Why would such bodhisattvas not be able to use the power of their superknowledges to honor the Buddha? But in the present passage, the Prajnaparamitasutra is addressed also to the Sravakas. This is why it does not speak of the great bodhisattvas, but only of the devas. Vajramaya Pradisa. 13th section, changing the surrounding ground into diamond. Sutra. The bodhisattva must practice the perfection of wisdom if he envisages thus. When I shall have attained supreme complete enlightenment, may every place where I walk, stand, sit, or lie down change into diamond. Sastra. Question. Why is the earth changed into Vajra diamond where the Buddha takes up the 4 postures? Answer. 1. According to some, when the bodhisattva comes to the foot of the Bodhi tree, he sits in this place and attains supreme complete enlightenment. At that moment, the bodhisattva penetrates the true nature of dharmas, and then there is no earth that can support him. Why? For beings the earth is a deception and exists as retribution conditioned by previous actions. This is why it is incapable of supporting the bodhisattva. When the bodhisattva is about to realize sambodhi, he has knowledge of the true nature as body, and then the place where he is seated changes into vajra. 2. According to others, the earth rests on the circle of gold. The circle of gold rests on the vajra. From the upper point of the vajra arises a terra similar to a lotus flower. Just above, it supports the place where the bodhisattva is sitting and prevents it from sinking. This is why the area of enlightenment where the bodhisattva sits is called vajra. 3. According to yet others, as soon as the bodhisattva has realized sambodhi, every place where the Buddha takes up the four postures changes into diamond. Question. But the vajra itself is deceptive for beings and exists as a result of actions. How can it support the Buddha? Answer. Even though the vajra comes about by deception, it is much more solid than the earth and nothing can surpass it. The vajra plunges into the water and there the Naga kings offer this solid substance to the Buddha and, as a result of the actions of his earlier lives, the Buddha has this solid support. Moreover, the Buddha transforms the vajra and the four great elements into empty space, and this akasa itself is not deceptive. The wisdom of the Buddha is not deceptive either. Akasa and prajna are both alike. This is why they can support him. Ekakalata. 14th section carrying out abhisambodhi, preaching and conversions all in the same day. Sutra. Furthermore, O Sariputra, the bodhisattva mahasattva must practice the perfection of wisdom if he envisages this. When I leave home and go forth, may I realize supreme complete enlightenment and turn the wheel of Dharma on the same day. And when I turn the wheel of Dharma, may innumerable incalculable beings obtain the purity of the dust-free and stainless eye of Dharma about Dharmas. May innumerable and incalculable beings have their minds liberated from impurities by detachment from things. And may innumerable and incalculable beings become non-regressing in their course toward supreme complete enlightenment. Sastra. 1. Becoming Buddha and preaching the Dharma the same day. In unfortunate ages, among beings of wrong views, in order to eliminate the wrong views of beings, some bodhisattvas devoted themselves zealously to very austere practices. Thus, in the Uravalva forest, the Buddha Sakyamuni ate only 1 grain of sesame, 1 grain of rice. The heretics said, even though he practiced austerities, our former teacher could not follow them for more than 6 years, and other men said, the Buddha is undergoing today the painful retribution of bad actions of his former lives. There are some bodhisattvas who believe that the Buddha really suffered those pains. That is why they say to themselves, when I go forth, may I realize abhisambodhi on that same day. Moreover, there are some bodhisattvas who go forth during fortunate times. Thus Tatiang Hao Ai, in search of abhisambodhi, sat cross-legged for 10 lesser kalpas until he attained abhisambodhi. Learning this, some bodhisattvas say to themselves, may I attain abhisambodhi on the same day that I go forth. There are some bodhisattvas who, after having realized abhisambodhi, do not immediately turn the wheel of Dharma. Thus, for 12 years after he had attained abhisambodhi, the Buddha Janteng only emitted light rays and, as there was no one to understand him, did not preach the Dharma. B. Also, the Buddha Suchantu, who was about to become Buddha but had no one to receive his teachings, created a fictive Buddha who, for a whole kalpa, preached the Dharma and saved beings, whereas Susanta himself had already entered parinirvana. C. Also, the Buddha Sakyamuni, having become Buddha, waited 57 days before preaching the Dharma. Learning this, some bodhisattvas say to themselves, may I turn the wheel of Dharma immediately when I become Buddha. 2. Simultaneously preaching and converting. There are Buddhas who save beings, but in limited numbers. Thus, when the Buddha Sakyamuni turned the wheel of Dharma, Kyautse Chenju was the only person to obtain the first fruit of the path.